It's quite shocking to know how the schools function in today's times. Now, well, they want their schools to function well, they want the children to come, and they also want money, but they don't want to take any responsibility. This is the big news now. Schools do not want to take any responsibility. They will charge money, they will make sure that the parents come there, they're ready to complain, but they're not ready to take responsibility in case something happens to the students. Now, after the apathy of the Vibgyor High, it's time to unveil another school, and this time in Hubli. Now, this school, by name Himalaya Education Trust, has issued certain guidelines to the parents of the students studying in their school. Now, as per the guidelines, the school management has stated that they are not responsible for any untoward incidents that happens in the school buses or vans. Now, but this sudden change in the attitude of parents has resulted in anger amidst the parents. Now, MLC Baswaraj Horati vented out his anger for the heights of irresponsibility on parts of these private schools. There you go. That's the those are the guidelines. Point 11, we take maximum care for safety of the children who use the school bus, but we do not take any responsibility and risk involved in using our bus. In fact, let's now listen into what MLC Baswaraj had to say about this.
Himalaya Education Trust now ಒಬ್ಬನ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರಂದ್ರೆ ಬಸ್ ಅವ್ರ ಬಸ್ನಾಗ ಬರಬೇಕು ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಯಾರು ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕಳ್ತಾನೆ ಇಲ್ಲ ಬಸ್ ಬರಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಮಗುವಿನ ಮನೆಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರೋದು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಅವ್ರದ್ದು ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದ ನಂತರ ಶಾಲೆ ಮುಗಿದ ನಂತರ ಹೋಗಿ ಅವ್ರ ಮನೆಗೆ ಮುಟ್ಸೋದು ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಈ ಥರ ನಾವು ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅವರೆಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ದಾರ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ವಿ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಎನಿ ರಿಸ್ಕ್ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಕೇರ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಟೇಕನ್ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ದಾರ ಬಟ್ ಇದು ತಪ್ಪು ಇಲ್ಲ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಅವ್ರು ತಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ತಮ್ಮ ಶಾಲೆ ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೋ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಇವ್ರ ಬಸ್ನಾಗ ಬರಬೇಕು ಇವ್ರ ಯೂನಿಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಹಾಕಬೇಕು ಇವ್ರ ಪೆನ್ಸಿಲ್ ತೊಗೋಬೇಕು ಇವ್ರ ಪಾಟ್ನ ತೊಗೋಬೇಕು ಎಲ್ಲ ಇವ್ರದ್ದು ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಇದೊಂದು ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ಅ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ನಾಳೆ ತರ್ತೀನಿ ಇದನ್ನು ನಾಳೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ನದಿಗೆ ತರ್ತೀನಿ ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ಯಾವುದೇ ಆಡಳಿತ ಮಂಡಳಿ ಇರಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಕರ್ಕೊಂಬಂದು ಶಾಲೆಯಿಂದ ಮಕ್ಕಳು ಅವ್ರ ಮನೆಗೆ ಮುಟ್ಟಿಸೋರಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರ ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿ ಇದ್ರಾಗ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಇಮಿಡಿಯೇಟ್ಲಿ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೋಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ನಾನು ಮತ್ತು ಇಂಥದ್ದು ಮಾಡೋದು ತಪ್ಪಿದು ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಥ ಶಾಲೆಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೋಬೇಕು.
Well, you heard what the MLC had to say over there. This is that particular school, Himalaya Public School in Hubli. Now, all these private schools are ready to charge hefty amounts of fees, some ranging up from 1.5 to 2 lakhs. And they state that they provide this service and that service and so on and so forth. But they do not want to take any responsibility if something happens to their students. Now, coming back to you, Bansi, this is heights of irresponsibility. The schools are ready to charge the parents a lot of money, but they clearly wash their hands off if something happens, and that too in their own school buses and vans.
Hello. Well, Nolan, this is a bit of a shocker here because what we are seeing is, as far as Karnataka is concerned, or even in the rest of the country, schools are private enterprises. Most private persons start schools. Now, there are prerequisites that a school needs, so they would satisfy all those conditions. Now, here the big challenge is in this institution in Hubli, Himalaya institutions. Now, they have a disclaimer. They have taken signatures from the parents of students and their guardians, local guardians, saying that they are not responsible if any untoward incident happens in a bus or in a van while the student is being transported to the school. Now, why is this being done? Because the school is trying to be safe. Now, this is the issue that Mr. Baswaraj Horati, the former education minister, has raised. This is a very serious issue because let's understand, schools are places where students spend about 7 to 8 hours in a day. Now, the students are left with the institutions by the parents, some of whom pay very hefty sums of money. Like, for example, at Vibgyor, they pay up to 2 lakh rupees. So here, the parents who leave their wards at the schools feel confident that the school is taking care of them, but the school coming up with this disclaimer, with this note saying that they are not responsible if anything happens in the school bus or in a school van, which means it is left to the parents themselves. So this is quite shocking because very irresponsible really, because at the end of the day, a child someone has to be responsible for the child, and the parent leaves the child with the institution and the institution washes off the hands saying they are not responsible, then that is quite shocking, Nolan.
Right, Bansi, I'm going to place you on hold for a moment. Let's now listen into what the director of the school had to say about this particular guideline.
We are providing this transportation facility also to our school for the kids who are coming here, but it is not compulsory that they should take, it is forcibly that if they are admitted here they should take the this vehicle facility. ಅದರ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ನೀವು ವೆಹಿಕಲ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟಿ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ತೆಗಿಬೋದು, ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ನೀವು ತಗೊಂಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಕಂಪಲ್ಸರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. And that will be on the responsibility of the parents, because school will not take any responsibility on the road side. ಯಾವ್ದು ರೋಡ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಗಾಡಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ರೆ ಟ್ರಾಫಿಕ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ, ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗಾಡಿ ಲೇಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ ಏನು, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಪೇರೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಟು ಕೋಆಪರೇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಟ್ರೈ ಟು ಗಿವ್ ಅವರ್ ಬೆಸ್ಟ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್. ಭಾಳ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ನಾನು 5 ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಕೊಡೋಕ್ಕಿರೋದು, ಈವನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಫೀಲ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಇನ್ ಎಜುಕೇಷನ್ ಆಸ್ ವೆಲ್ ಆಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಪೋರ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಬೋತ್.
Well, you heard what the director stated over there, that they will try and give their best service. Now, what service is he talking about? Now, Bansi, should the government not cancel all these schools' permission to actually pick and drop students if they do not want to take responsibility? The government can actually make sure that BMTC, or basically the local services there, do the job.
This problem is more complex than we think it is. Let's look at this real situation in Karnataka. Most schools, more than 50% of the school children go to schools not in the school buses, but they go in vehicles which are run by private contractors. Now this is more serious because they do not come under the ambit of any of these laws. Now even the Supreme Court has framed rules, guidelines only for school buses about the structure, the provisions for school buses, but none of these apply to these private vehicles, because auto rickshaws, even the maxi cabs that ferry students, ferry them under very appalling conditions. Now here the case in point is that this is a school bus, and the school is coming up with a note saying that they are not really responsible for the safety of the child. Now that is very irresponsible. While that should be attacked, there is a larger problem here which must be addressed, Nolan.
Right, Bansi, I'm going to place you on hold. Now, this is something which is, well, comes under the heights of irresponsibility. We have marked those guidelines to show you what exactly the school has stated. Now, the school very clearly states that they will provide pick and drop facility, but the management is not responsible for any untoward incidents if it happens in their school buses or vans. Now, Bansi, you stated that it's a very complicated issue because the rules, the guidelines that have come out by the Supreme Court adhere only to school buses and not to the maxi cabs, not to autos. Can the government now not come out with something that can bring all these, the private, public, basically those owned and run by the school, under one ambit, all following one single law?
Well, that will be a big challenge, Nolan, for the government, for the state government, because we've seen the government pretty much directionless, especially over the past few days, maybe for about a week. So it is time for the state leadership, for the government to really take control of this situation and come up with norms that will, because the people shouldn't lose their confidence in the government. So it is time for them to really wake up before it's too late, because we've seen the government really looking directionless, just drifting, especially over the past 1 week as these incidents of rapes and abuses have come to light. So it is time for the government to come up with something proactive so that the people do not lose confidence in the government.
Right, Bansi, thank you very much for all those details. Now we're talking about a school known as the Himalaya Education Trust. Now this is in Hubli. They've issued certain guidelines to the parents. Now, as per the guidelines, the school management has stated that they are not responsible for any untoward incidents if it happens or takes place in their school buses or vans. Now, but this sudden change in the attitude has resulted in anger, not just amongst parents, but also amongst a few politicians who have actually come out to vent their anger at the heights of irresponsibility on part of these schools.